righty. Well, welcome everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started.
All righty. It is officially 11:06, and we're going to open up the forum. And I want to personally welcome everyone to our Eat Well Cooking Club. It is a three-part series, and we are in session number 3 of the 3 weeks. So this is a collaboration of 2 organizations. Advocates for Community Wellness, which is founded by Dale Kane. It's a nonprofit 501c3. We're faith-based health promotion, prevention, and health restoration ministry without walls. Our main goal is promoting public education and awareness on the relationship between our diet, health, and chronic disease. And we have Stonebridge Healthy Community Outreach Initiative, which is also a 501c3. But she's a 501c3. It was founded in 2008. It was formerly known as Stonebridge Diabetes Support Group. And her overarching theme is to bring awareness, prevention, and restoration of lifelong health solutions for diabetes and other chronic conditions to families and communities. So you see how both of our initiatives really complement one another. And I've been knowing Ali since the conception of her organization and working with it. So our common mission is to improving eating habits for healthier lifestyle and increased longevity. We have 3 main goals, and providing this forum is to increase consumptions of vegetables, fruit, and whole grains. 2, to encourage a more nutrient-rich diet plan for better health and to reduce risk factors of chronic diseases and illness. And number 3 is to attain a healthier weight through consumptions of plant-based nutrition. Our presenters is going to be myself, Dale Kane, and Chef M. So a little bit about me. I know we have some new people on the forum. I am the director of Advocates for Community Wellness. I am also a nutrition specialist. I attended Professional Career Development Institute of the School of Nutrition and received my certification. I'm a certified plant-based nutrition movement cooking coach, and I also completed a certification in plant-based nutrition with the T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies at Cornell University. I have over 18 years of work experience in health promotion and disease prevention in the wellness and culinary programs, coordinating them throughout the city. Some of you that are here are from classes that I have facilitated. And I'm also the former Illinois State Cooking Matter Program Coordinator, which is a national nutrition, education, and cooking program for families and children. And now a little bit about Chef M.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chef M. I am Millicent Walker. I am the chef director at Cooking Canvas. I am extremely passionate about food and helping people to understand that you can get all of the nutrients out of your food with very simple things that you can make at home yourself. So instead of always having to buy something out full of preservatives, there are ways that you can definitely make food at home by yourself. In my family, we have a high prevalence of diabetes. And so that was one thing that definitely attracted me to Stonebridge's mission. I work as an executive administrator, helping to make sure that we have programs similar to this going on throughout the year. I hope that you guys enjoy this demonstration and hopefully come cook with me one day. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Chef M. So with all that being said, we just want to let you know that the information that you're receiving today, both from Advocates for Community Wellness and Stonebridge Healthy Community Outreach Program, which Chef M is a part of, is strictly for educational purpose only. It's not intended to replace the advice of your medical doctor or other healthcare professionals with whom you consult with. Okay, the instructors, we just want to be clear that we share our credentials with you. And so from the perspective where we're coming from and the training that we have, also, we just want to let you know that we are recording the Zoom session and while you're participating in this forum. So we have our first opinion poll led by, I do want to add, we are, which some of you have met earlier, Lynette Malone. She is our director of social engagement with advocates for community wellness, and she's going to be assisting us throughout our presentation. Lynette?
Good morning, all, and welcome again to our session. I have a poll that you should be able to see online right now. Is this your first session with the Eating Well Cooking Club? And also, are you cooking with us today? We do encourage that you can cook along with Chef M, but if not, you will definitely see a great presentation from her, and then hopefully you'll try it in your own kitchen later. Chef M, all eyes are on you.
No problem. That sounds good. So in session 1, we went through our breakfast menu where we offered a vegan veggie frittata, a fruit protein bar, and fruit infused water. Feel free to jump in at any time as well. We offered, so all of those were freshly made. The protein bar featured oats, dates, and apricots. The fruit infused water, that's a great way to get your vitamin C and stay hydrated. The one that we did, I believe, was strawberry. We did strawberry blueberry waters, which is definitely like full of antioxidants. All right. In session 2, we did a vegetable stir fry with a fresh ginger soy sauce. The vegetables that we featured there were snow peas, broccoli, red and green peppers. We had a wide variety of colors. As you know, it's important to eat a variety of colors because they give you a variety of vitamins and nutrients. We also made very delicious brown rice. I gave you guys the perfect recipe for brown rice so that it's not only nutritious, but also very nice and palatable. And then we also made a masala chai tea. So it's not quite as sweet as a latte, but it was still definitely that nice chai tea full of all of the various spices that help to filter your blood. And in that one, we discussed that not all meals are equal meals. And now in this session, we're going to do an oven fried cauliflower, kind of almost like a oven fried chicken, except we're substituting the cauliflower. We'll do seasoned sweet potato fries, a confetti coleslaw, and lemon hibiscus tea. And then in this topic, we'll go over the meal composition and how you want to go through your meals and piece by piece decide what's what and make sure that you have a balanced plate.
All righty. Thank you, Chef M. And so we're going to continue our conversation about healthy eating. Our overarching theme for our January series was the basic of meal planning. And we're entering our dinner session. And so our learning objective for today is about meal composition. We are always constantly focusing on choosing healthier foods. And also, we want you to choose the best possible food for overall health benefits. That's why we are promoting this eating plan. Here, these are the basic meal composition we're all familiar with. The one that people may not be familiar with is the Power Plate. I have resources down there where you can learn more. Down at the bottom for the Power Plate, that is organized by or supported by the Physician Committee for Responsible Medicine. And then we know the ChooseMyPlate.gov is sponsored by the USDA. So these are the basic principles and recommendations for meal planning, healthy meals. And this is going to be a review from session 1 and 2, is that our goal every day, every meal is to have at least 3 food groups. We define as a healthy meal is having a source of protein, a grain, a fruit, or a vegetable for a healthy meal. Our definition of a balanced meal is having all 5 food groups or nutrients present in your meal. So that is including having both fruits and vegetables and a source of calcium. And we always are looking to optimize your health with plant-based nutrition, with no added oils or fats or sugar. And I know that's a big challenge, but we show you how to do that through our recipes and our plans. In lesson number 1, we gave some options because most people are like, what am I going to eat? These are some options to let you know that you can duplicate any meal that you're currently eating and you're not missing the foods that, you may normally say, I've made a spaghetti with using the sausage. I use, and all these are plant-based options. In our first class, had the brand names, but I am going to introduce one later. So here's an example we may all see is a healthy meal, 3 food groups. Here is changing that healthy meal, a healthy meal, yes, with 3 groups to a balanced meal, having all 5 food groups. So by adding the salad, by adding some fruit, and there's some cheese for the dairy. Okay, that's with the balanced meal. But a plant-based option is that, yes, adding the fruit, but they have plant-based cheese options as well. It looks like it tastes like it, and it smells like it. And that reminds me of a commercial about it ain't butter, okay? Okay, so now we're going to cook with Chef M, and I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to pin her so that we can have a full view of the cooking demo.
And I'm going to adjust my camera down just a little bit so you guys can see my stove. And so we have kind of a fuller menu for today. So what we are going to start with is our sweet potato fries. Now, I've done quite a bit of prep work for you guys today. So I have my sweet potato fries cut up somewhat evenly, because you want them to be somewhat even so that they bake evenly. Now, they're sitting in water right now, so give me 1 second. Let me dump this out. Inside of this bowl, I'm going to, and you could definitely skip the part with the oil because this is wet, but I am going to little olive oil in this bowl and just work through by hand. And then we'll do a little cornstarch for a nice crisp. And these were just sweet potatoes peeled and cut. The smaller that you cut the sweet potato, the easier it is to manage, like actually chopping. Sweet potatoes can be very hard to start. And then we're just gonna toss it with some spices. So in this little cup, I have some garlic, pepper, salt, and a little paprika. And we'll just toss it so that we coat it. And then give it another quick toss.
Chef, does paprika really have a taste?
Paprika? Yes, it does. It's ground, and I always forget which peppers, but it's ground peppers. So it does have a taste, but it really gives more of a spice than a taste per se.
Okay.
But if you don't use a lot of paprika, it's really like a mild taste. So it's not like salt where you can like really feel that, oh, I put way too much salt, or like pepper where you feel like, oh, that's way too much pepper. Paprika it gives like a mild kick to food.
Okay. Thank you.
And I can't say that you will notice it if you don't use it. But it's a spice that I like to use. And now this was 3 sweet potatoes. You can definitely do less. You can do more. You can also, if you want to do wedges instead. Now wedges will take a little bit longer. And I'm just going to arrange them in one even layer. Just like, I don't know how many of you used to eat fries, but just like you would any kind of fry that you bake. And we're going to put these in the oven. And the oven is usually my preferred method to cook, just because you don't add that extra oil and you don't have, well, the extra calories, I presume, from frying. Okay. So, I'm sorry. I've set my oven at 425, and I'm going to put this one in the oven first. Now, the oven fried cauliflower is also going to go in. So this one I'm going to put in on the bottom shelf so that it will brown and cook the way that I want it to. Now, We're gonna set a timer for 15 minutes on these because we'll need to take them out and flip them. All right, now while that's working, we will get started on our oven fried cauliflower. My kids always make fun of me when I mix up words, but you know, it's hard talking and everybody gets tongue tied sometimes, right? So for this one, we have a few things that we're gonna do. We are going to layer our seasonings. So you see I have my cauliflower in one container, and then I have these nice 2 bowls. So in one bowl, I'm going to mix up some lemon juice, some honey Dijon mustard, some oat milk, a little oat flour, some cornstarch. And the cornstarch, again, helps to give that crispiness. And then, again, with the garlic, pepper, paprika. Paprika I use here not only for that little hint of flavor, but also for color. And then just a little salt. Now, so this is my batter. So I'm going to mix all of these ingredients together. So what I'll have is both a batter and a breading. Okay. So I just whisk that together. So, you know, it's just nice and combined. And then in this other bowl, I'll cornmeal to help with that crisp. I have Italian breadcrumbs, and then some additional Italian seasoning, paprika, salt, and just a little pepper, lemon pepper. I believe I use in it. And again, I'm gonna give this a quick whisk because I want all of those flavors combined, especially that cornmeal. But I want all of these flavors to combine so that I'll taste them in my food. Okay. Now, like I said, we're layering seasoning. So in addition to this nice cauliflower, I'm going to spread out on my baking sheet. I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of lemon juice on this. And that lemon juice just gives a little added hint of flavor without adding salt. So now, like I said, we're going to take these pieces and we'll coat it in our batter. And then we'll toss it in our breading. You guys see how that can possibly look? You know, like once it's cooked up, it'll look really nice and crisp. And you definitely don't have to do one piece at a time. You know, just like if you were cooking anything that you were breading. And I use the oat flour for a few different reasons. One, oat flour adds some fiber, but also the flavor of the oat flour versus all-purpose flour is it just adds a layer of good flavor to this dish. And you can definitely do this by hand as well if you prefer. I'm trying to keep it a little clean.
Chef Millicent, does this also work for like frozen cauliflower, or do we need to have it dry?
You can do it for frozen cauliflower. You just may want to increase the amount of breading that you use because you know that frozen will definitely make this dish wetter.
Okay.
You'll also likely need to increase your baking time a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't have to necessarily do fresh. I did.
But fresh would taste better, I'm quite certain.
Well, you know, everything fresh tastes better to me.
Yes, we're trying to be like you.
But you know, I have to realize that, you know, it's a process. And not everybody wants to spend that kind of time. But if you can't do fresh, and you know, sometimes you can find cauliflower already broken down in your like produce aisle.
Oh, that's right.
So there's nothing saying that, you know, oh, you can't get that done.
That's true. And it's for our health. So we have to make time to eat healthy.
Yeah, you do. It's like, you know, going to work out. And I know I'm definitely not one that makes time for working out. I wish I could say that I did.
That's all right.
Right. We're all works in progress, right?
It's a journey.
Absolutely. For every one of us. And you can also do this for any kind of floret-like vegetable. So if you say, you know, I don't really care for cauliflower, you can definitely do this for broccoli.
But I want to add that it's a good use for the cauliflower, other vegetables in that category. We do need to consume more of them, and it's recommended for health is to eat at least 2 to 3 a week. And this is a great way to do it. And I want to add, it was a question about the paprika. Another thing with the paprika, it helps to enhance the color of the food as well. It does have the mild taste, but you can get other versions of it. I know we use smoke, we use Spanish. So, you know, each one has a little different tweak to it. But it's one of those excellent spices to start adding to our foods.
And then we're going to get started on our hibiscus.
Just in the chat, since we're using cauliflower, when was the last time that you had some cauliflower?
Last night.
Oh, thumbs up. Thumbs up for that.
Stir fry.
Okay.
With the spray pan with the spray olive oil can.
And you know what I do use I do roast the cauliflower. I've used it in my soups, cut it up. You can do cauliflower rice if you diabetes and but it has the appearance of it. You don't, when it's roasted, it's really delicious. It even have a little, I'm not saying it has a little sweet taste to it, but it's very pleasant.
Now, we're gonna put this into the oven on the top shelf. And now we're going to start on our hibiscus tea. And this tea is similar to brewed tea. It's a really simple recipe. And hibiscus is one of those things that I tend to really, really like. So what we're going to do is start off making, it's like a simple sugar. So I have some stevia here, and I'm going to add it to, that was 4 cups of water, and this is 3/4 cup stevia. And one thing I didn't realize about stevia is that it kicks back a little dusty sugar. And I'll give it a little stir inside this pot, just because I don't want that sugar to caramelize on the bottom. Because then that's a different taste altogether. And it's not, caramelized sugar is great, but inside hibiscus tea, maybe not. So once the sugar's dissolved, I'll add in these dried hibiscus flowers, which I'm not sure if you can find these at Sunrise, but I know that there's a market in Chicago Heights that I find these at. And I'm going to add in just a few slices of lemon.
Chef M, I have a hibiscus plant in my backyard. So
that's cool.
Can I use that like this summer?
I would think that you could. You might want to dry them out,
Okay.
but you can I believe you can dry them out in the oven and not for very long. But that would be, oh, I would love to see that.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to take a picture of that and send it to me.
I sure will.
And there are some health benefits with the hibiscus. Actually, it is highly recommended for cardiovascular health. They have some compounds in it that really helps to open up the flow for our blood system to flow in. So I drink it often, and I drink it, I mix it with other teas.
And see, I like hibiscus tea just in general. So I'll drink it just regularly, but that's good to know. And I wasn't sure that it had those health benefits.
Oh yeah.
Because it was a flower, but inside my family, in addition to the diabetes issues, we also have a fair amount of high cholesterol, high blood pressure, the normal things that affect our families.
Yes.
All right.
And,
go on.
Okay, no, that's why one of the things, one of the programs that advocates have is cooking for your health. There are health benefits right in your cupboard, right in your kitchen. And all we have to do is start adding them and cooking them to our diet to achieve that better health.
Now, can you guys see this big bowl, or do I need to come closer?
We can see it.
All right, great. Okay, so I'm going to make that confetti coleslaw. And this one is really simple. We are going to add something like a mild vinaigrette. So I have some green cabbage, nicely rinsed. And you definitely don't have to make as much. If you know that your family isn't going to eat this, or if you aren't going to, you can definitely cut this recipe down like half. And then I have
Is the cabbage and the cauliflower in the same family?
Yes.
Want something over there?
And kale. Kale is in that family too. It's in greens, but it's in that family.
All right. And
Bok choy is another one.
I'm gonna take some of that, actually. This cabbage is bigger than I thought. All right, and then also have some red peppers I'm gonna add to this dish. Some carrots and some green onions. Now, in a separate little bowl, I'm going to add some grapeseed oil, some honey, and some apple cider vinegar.
Why the grapeseed oil?
Why the grapeseed oil? So I need to make something like a vinaigrette. You can definitely, opt for a different oil, but grapeseed oil has a very light flavor.
Oh.
So the grapeseed oil in this case it allows the rest of the flavors to come through, as opposed to olive oil or canola oil. It has a very light flavor.
Is it one of the healthy oils?
It is a healthier oil as well, yes.
Okay.
As far as I know, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but what I believe is that it is a healthier oil.
The grapeseed oil? I refrain, but I will tell you, generally speaking, nutritionally, oils are oils. There are some healthier ones, but they all carry the same amount of calories per gram. And so, but there's different advantage of using different oils, the temperature in which they hold heat. And so it is, chefs, they use it for different reasons. But to answer the question, coming from the grape, because it's the grape seed, coming from the grapes, it will be a more, healthy, because grapes are healthy. Let me say that.
That was a very diplomatic answer.
I mean, it's healthier, versus corn.
Yes,
And
versus corn.
because oil comes in different categories, you know, the polysaturated, saturated, unsaturated. So they come in different categories. And so what we want to move towards is moving towards more healthier oils, which is the mono unsaturated. And we discussed that in our classes.
So now we'll just turn these over. My parchment paper is kind of sticking to them. So we're gonna cook these for another 15 minutes or so, just so the edges start to brown. I don't know if you guys can tell, but these potatoes are getting nice and soft. But we want them to be a little crispy, even if it's just crispy on the outside. So we'll flip each one over and then make sure that we maintain that single layer.
Now just interject that, you know, this is how we definitely manage and reverse chronic illnesses in our community, is by healthy eating. And this meal is definitely one that will facilitate that movement.
Yes. Now inside of our, we're going to add some seasonings. So again, and for the most part, the seasonings used are garlic, because garlic just enhances the flavor, salt, pepper, sometimes a little Italian seasoning, sometimes a little paprika. This one just has the salt, pepper, and garlic, I believe. And then we'll drizzle this over it and then toss the dish in it. And then we'll refrigerate this. It's preferable to refrigerate it for at least 4 hours, but as long as it chills, because that is what releases the flavor more optimally, is that it's chilled. Now, while I'm talking, my hibiscus tea is boiling. And I just want it to boil for a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn this pot off. And it actually has been boiling for a few minutes, so I'm going to turn this pot off. Finish tossing this, and then we'll cover it and put it in the refrigerator. Is optimal. And then I checked my cauliflower while I was in there as well. And I'm going to pull that out and flip it in just a minute.
That looks really good, Chef M.
Yeah, you see all these nice colors. That's what I was going to say. You see all
Yes.
these nice colors? Like, it's always beneficial to eat a rainbow. All right. And we'll clean up a little bit. Let me show you this nice tea. Ooh, and you can certainly strain these leaves out. You don't have to drink it with the leaves or the lemon for that matter. But if you wanted to be more flavorful, you definitely can add some of these tea leaves and lemons. You guys see this beautiful color?
It looks so nice. Oh yeah.
Move this back a little bit, and that's actually gonna be my cup. I'm gonna stick it a little late. Now, can you guys see how our cauliflower is starting to brown a little bit?
Yeah.
I want to flip these because you want to make sure that it browns evenly. So I'm just going to flip these, and you see the breading is nice and coating.
Has anyone had the cauliflower, roasted cauliflower? I'm telling you, once you do it once, you it would be added to your menu offerings. It really is. And it's great for entertaining, your little appetizers and things. People they really love them once they get introduced to them. And most important, that you can season it to your likings. I've done a jerk chicken like spice. You can do like an Italian blend on it. It really picks up the seasoning that you're seasoning it with.
All right. Let's see. So we saw our confetti salad. It'll be just a few more minutes on our sweet potatoes and our cauliflower. So while those are finishing up, let's go into our recipe review.
Okay. Once again, we want to thank Canvas for facilitating this cooking segment for me. Saw some comments in the chat. We will be continuing our partnership together. On the recipe review, there's a term called mise en place, and I like the ease in which Chef M have done the cooking, because when we were at planning discussion, I was asking her, are you going to be able to do this in 45 minutes, And she said, yes, Dale, she is a true professional. But one of the techniques is having everything in place, having everything that you need. And I'm going to turn it over to Chef M.
Yes, so as Dale said, yes, mise en place is absolutely required, because it just makes the flow of everything go so much smoother, and you know where everything is, you know how everything works out, and you cook a lot faster. But that is important. You do have to make sure that you have all of the appropriate ingredients, and you have to make sure that they're all set out so that you're ready to go. These dishes like these, you don't necessarily have to. However, it just makes things easier. So we had all of our vegetables all chopped up. And if you wanted to definitely substitute the shredded bags of cabbage, you could do that. We did actual, whole heads that we chopped, or that I chopped, but you can definitely substitute some of those, do some of the easier things if that works better for you. But just know what you have and know the expiration dates on things, because once you start to cut up a fruit or a vegetable, they start to die. Well, once you pull them out the ground, they start to die. But once you start cutting into them, they're definitely they have a very short time span after that. So you just want to make sure that you know that, and that you have done everything appropriately. So today we started with the whole head of cabbage that we just de-stemmed and broke down. Basically, we just, you just chop those parts off, chop the stems off so that you have the florets by themselves. Some of the florets I cut in half because they were a little larger than what I wanted. So with this dish, you make it so you don't necessarily have to cut into it. You can definitely use it like an appetizer. I think I saw somebody said that they were going to use it as their game day snack. You can definitely use it as an appetizer or more of a finger food, or you can leave the cabbage head a little, larger. So we use the lemon juice. We did 1 tablespoon of lemon juice just to give the cauliflower a coating, give them a little bit more flavor. For, like I said, we layered our seasonings. So from there, we made up that nice little batter with the oat milk, the Dijon mustard, the oat flour, and cornstarch. Now, if you don't like some, you can definitely substitute them. There's always a workaround. That's one thing that I definitely have learned in cooking, is that if there's a flavor that you don't particularly care for, there's probably something that you can substitute for it, and definitely make that substitution. However, sometimes you just need to try and see how things blend together as well. Let's see. And then we also added my normal trifecta of spices is garlic, salt, pepper, paprika, Italian seasoning, because I like the way that those things blend together, and it enhances the food in the way that I like the food to taste. So you can definitely either scale back or add a little bit more. I would say always be careful with the salt. And as we talked about the paprika, it does give additional, it starts with a mild hint, but if you overdo it, it's overdone and it's not nice. Let me see. And then we did the batter, and then we tossed it in a breading. So that breading was just the cornmeal, and then the breadcrumbs give it a nice crisp crunch. And that's what you're looking for when you want something fried, even if it's oven fried. you still want the same similarities in taste. Okay.
I just want to add, one of the things, most people may catch it. Well, why did you use oat milk? Well, here, this is where you can do a tweak for your own personal health, is that if you are have a sensitivity to, well, we're promoting plant-based, but let's say that you were just moving towards just eating healthier, is that there are some other options out there. The oat milk, the almond milk, you can get it unsweetened, you can get the plain, the soy milk, the rice milk. There's a lot of options out there.
Yes, and there are. And you can definitely substitute that oat milk for a nut milk. However, in my household, we are a nut-free environment. So that's usually not an option.
And then do you want to put in the plug in for why you use the oat flour? I normally don't use oat flour, but since the class, I have gone out just to have some on hand.
So oat flour, it adds a layer of fiber, but it also has a mildly sweeter taste. So I have kids, so sometimes I have to trick them into eating things, and I have to make them a flavor that they would enjoy. So I prefer the oat flour as opposed to all purpose, just for that reason, the additional fiber, and then also that mild switch up in taste.
I like to add one point to it as well, is that you can get a gluten-free version. As I've gotten older, I'm getting more and more sensitive towards gluten. I mean, there was a time I used to be able to eat, like several slices of pizza, but now, it's like I can't, because I'll have the GERD afterwards, and my stomach will be dancing all night. But if I eat a low amount, maybe just one or two, the little square, I'm fine. So, but the oat will give you can lean towards more a gluten-free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a better grain for if you're a diabetic as well.
Yeah, and it does definitely enhance that for diabetes. Yeah, you will have to make sure that you get the gluten-free oat flour if you do decide if gluten is the issue, because oat can still have gluten in it, just not as much as the wheat flour.
Mm-hmm. They have the Bob's Red Mill. Okay. That's one brand I know that carries it.
And so for the sweet potato fries, that was, really a simple thing. We chopped up the sweet potatoes, tossed in olive oil so that we got a nice coating, tossed again in cornstarch, and then in that nice blend, garlic, paprika, black pepper, and salt. Now, you can also flavor these again when they come out of the oven, which they are getting ready to come out of the oven, and you can flavor them again if you want. You can. I'm not a huge fan of salt, so I don't usually resalt my food, or even I'm not a huge. Although I love sweet potato fries, even though I don't really like white potato fries or red potato fries. I don't like those potatoes for that matter, but I don't tend to resalt my fries in general. But that one, it's a nice switch up to the white potatoes. You still have that nice sweetness of that sweet potato, but then you have all of those different nutrients that come in the colored vegetables, as opposed to the ones, that are just like the plain colors. Plus we have, we're eating the whole rainbow full of colors. So we have the nice orange in it. When my oven is set over 400, my smoke detectors like to go off. There's no smoke, but my smoke, they're heat sensitive. So I apologize for that. But now my oven is off. So, so we should be okay for the rest of the time. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the sweet potatoes? Yeah, go ahead. They're
delicious. It's a staple in my house.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too.
Miss Eva, I know you personally, and this is a shout out to your French fries, sweet potato fries. I hope you enjoy this recipe.
But I have to give a health benefit for sweet potatoes.
Okay,
and actually when it comes to women, sweet potato is a woman's best friend. It has beta-carotene in it, and you can see due to the color of it, it has vitamin A in it, which is one of the antioxidants. And in our classes, we demonstrate, we demonstrate the power of including more antioxidants into your diet. And virtually when we say that, those are vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, and selenium. We call them ACEs. Those are the core, but it's a health benefit, more nutrient dense, a healthier option than the white potato. And now even society, the market is really, you see those offerings of sweet potatoes when you go into the restaurants. The only thing, my thing is that they're fried, baked, healthier. Okay, thank you for showing us that.
Yes. And then did you all also see the nice cauliflower? The confetti coleslaw. So with the coleslaw, instead of using the mayo, we did like a very light vinaigrette. So that's what the honey, the grapeseed oil, and the apple cider vinegar, those things come together to make a very light vinaigrette. And all you see, all I did was whisk them, or actually I used a spoon. I just mixed them together very gently to incorporate the honey. The honey is like an emulsifier, which means that it brings the oil and the apple cider vinegar together to help keep it from separating later on. And then we season the vinaigrette with the seasonings so that the seasonings would be incorporated throughout the entire dish. And before we did the vinaigrette, and you can do it either way. You can either make the vinaigrette first and have it sitting, or you can do your vegetables. Just one caution on making the vinaigrette ahead of time is that even with the honey as an emulsifier, it can still separate. So then you'll need to remix it. You know, just like if you were to get Italian vinaigrette from the store, it has the emulsifier in it, but you still have to shake it before you actually go to use it. Let me pull that out for you. Shh. And so here we have all of those nice variety of colors. We have all of those nice variety of colors in our coleslaw. And so now we have, you know, both our nice hot dishes and then our nice cold coleslaw to go with that. And then lastly, do we have any questions on the confetti coleslaw?
No, it's something great to have. It lasts, you know, longer than some of the other things that it's refreshing. I eat it in the morning as well as, you know, as well as throughout the day. And it's very filling. There's lots of health benefits in it, especially with the red cabbage. Mm-hmm.
That's one good
it's
point.
Really making it very hard. I keep wanting to sneak my mouth.
That's one very good point you just brought up, Dale. Having vegetables in the mornings, I know that that's one thing that I like to highlight is let's start eating more vegetables and fruit early in the day, jump started. And you can see that, you know, you can have it in a variety of ways. It doesn't have to be just the traditional dinner time only. So
right.
Be eating earlier.
Yeah, very much so. And that's what, you know, in our vegan frittata, we definitely, you know, added some nice vegetables to that. But you can definitely, add veggies throughout any meal of the day.
And that's a good quick one on really, because it's filling and on the go, is to put that in a little container and where are you going, you get there and you can eat that. It's very filling and refreshing. And you find because it's raw, uncooked, it'll give you more energy that will sustain you throughout the day.
Miss Dale, what are the nutritional difference between the red cabbage and regular cabbage?
Okay, I'm gonna share an old saying we grew up with: the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Okay, it has more nutrients in it, and I say that fondly too. It has more nutrients. It's more nutrients dense. The brighter the color, the darker the color it is, the more nutrient dense. Those colors are what they call polynutrients, and they're chemicals, they're compounds. And you find that the red cabbage will last a little bit longer than the green cabbage. Okay, because it has more, another term that's used is more nutrient dense because they have more in it, like the percentage. You know, say for example, that may have vitamin C. The yellow one or the green one because it's usually a light green, that may have like 2% of vitamin C. The red may have 8%. It's more nutrient dense. It delivers you more power, more energy, more fighting, what they call phytochemicals. Phyto means life, life-giving chemicals to you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you cook the red cabbage the same way you cook the green cabbage?
Yes, you can.
I have, yeah.
But you can saute it lightly.
Yeah.
And I especially like with sometimes older participants or I work with seniors a lot. Their ability to chew has sort of declined. So you just saute it a little bit. You can steam it a little bit, but so that you still want to have where it has a little crunch to it. Because once it has a little crunch to it, you know that you have more nutrients in it. The more you
I like it with the crunch anyway.
The more you cook it, we're losing some of the nutrients out of it. And you're destroying the enzymes, the live enzymes.
Thank you. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
May I ask a question too? It's regarding, thank you for inviting me to this, Minister Dale, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's regarding the grapeseed oil. Is that, because I have olive oil in my cabinet right now, so is there some value to using grapeseed oil over the olive oil, or is it just a better taste? What this did?
The grapeseed oil has a lighter flavor.
On the nutritional side, remember I mentioned there's different kinds of oils? The olive oil is a mono unsaturated oil. That's the most desirable oils that we want to consume, the most desirable. And the grapeseed oil is in the poly unsaturated. We got the mono, meaning one, unsaturated, and then the poly means many, saturated. And so that's in like, is healthier than the saturated. And this is in reference to our body. But the grapeseed oil has a higher, what they call smoke point, meaning that you can cook it at a higher temperature before it starts breaking down versus the olive oil. The olive oil has a lower smoke point and it burns. If you see it smoking, that oil is breaking down and it's breaking down into a lesser oil. I mean, with the properties of a lesser oil. Did that answer your question?
Thank you. I'll have to chew on that a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, is extra virgin olive oil better than just regular olive oil?
Okay. And so we're going to say that it's healthier because the extra virgin generally means the first press. And when we get the virgin oil, it could be the third, it could be the fourth press, trying to get all the oils out of it. And so, but another thing that we didn't discuss is that we want to go towards the cold press versus just having the olive oil, which has been pasteurized and it's been heated. It's been heated at a higher degree just to make sure that all the impurities and any contaminations and microorganisms are not in it. So when we say extra, it usually means the first press.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I think there's one more in the chat, how heat changes affects the oil.
How heat?
Although that might be, yeah.
How heat changes the composition of the oil? Okay, because it breaks it down. Say, for example, we'll take wood. So if we have a piece of wood, if I set it on fire, it's going to break that wood down. But if I examine that on a chemical level to see like, what is this? I can say that that's wood because it's wood. So the heat, fire, is going to break it down, and it breaks it because it breaks up the bond between the chemical composition that makes olive oil. And when it's broken down and applying high heat, carcinogens are formed. And so we want to keep those carcinogens as low as possible. And that's why we advocate people moving from fried food, going towards a more healthier way of cooking. Let's say we're going to discuss a meal, our typical meal, and going towards more baking, roasting, okay, because you're not doing the most harm is heating. When we heat something at a high temperature, it breaks it down into its components. and then it changes its chemical composition, and it changes into a lesser. When I say lesser, because I won't get my full benefit because some of the nutrients are destroyed. I'm not getting my full benefit. I'm paying the price, but I'm not getting my full benefit. When I use olive oil, let's say I remember a side story, my sister it was earlier cooking, we had a fish fry, and she used olive oil to fry the fish. Okay, so it didn't turn out very well, but but yeah, so did that answer your question? Because I do want to keep on point, and I think we may have, is it one other slide we have for you?
Yeah, it's just one more.
Okay, yes.
I'm sorry, standing over this stove is making me sweat. All right, and then for our hibiscus, we had the 4 cups of water, and the 3/4 cups of stevia. And stevia or any similar sweetener, it's a sugar substitute, but so it doesn't give you, I believe it doesn't have all of the calories. And then we also had 3/4 cups of the dry hibiscus flowers, 4 slices of lemon, and then we put all of that together in a pot and allowed the sugar to dissolve before we added the hibiscus flowers and the lemon slice. And we just let that all come to a boil and steep for about 20 minutes before we used it. Now, one thing that I didn't do that I definitely would recommend, because the powdered tea is very sweet made this way. And you can, and that's the benefit of this tea. You can also have it as a cold drink. So like instead of that sweet tea on a hot summer's day, you can have hibiscus tea. Mm-hmm. And then that ice helps to soften some of that sweetness as well. So you can serve it either way. Just be cautious with the amount of sweetness. But yeah, any questions on that one?
I would highly recommend people to get the hibiscus tea, have it as a part of the staple in your house. It's something that a lot of people maybe drink it during the summer, maybe spring, but it's a good tea to have year round because of the health benefits of helping to lower high blood pressure and also cholesterol as well. Phytochemicals are in it. All right.
And it's very delicious.
Yes, refreshing. And 2, we can all moving towards maybe having our teas without any added sugar, or let me say any added sweetener, because you can, especially with teas. But it's like someone mentioned earlier, we're all on a journey, and it's a long road until we arrive. But that could be one of a goal that we can at least start with. And that's one of the first things I started with, is because I drink tea and coffee, but I started just drinking tea without the sugar.
You know what's so interesting with that? A lot of times I used to get this a lot from my family members. They really were shocked that I didn't add sugar to the tea. Matter of fact, way back in the day, I didn't even like adding sugar to Kool-Aid. Now, that's different, right?
You might have a Kool-Aid at your house.
I don't drink
You
Kool-Aid
in the house
anymore.
you didn't drink Kool-Aid at.
I never had that at home. My mother never bought Kool-Aid. I don't know why, but that was like at my cousin's house. But and once you start really reducing or then getting to the point of eliminating the added sugar, it just becomes part of what you do.
Yeah, you don't miss it. And when you taste something that has sugar, oh, that's really sweet. Yes, you do.
Miss Coretta said I invented flavored water. I wish I could get some royalties off of that.
I would really like to get to the point where I didn't need sugar, and diabetes runs in my family, and I would like to wean myself off of the sugar. Do you have any tips on how to do it? I mean, I love to drink tea, and I cannot drink it without it being sweetened.
Okay.
So I drink it every night. What I'm doing now is I use Splenda. I'm thinking that's a healthier alternative to using white sugar, but I really would like some tips how to wean myself off of it, or natural ways to sweeten my tea.
I like to share.
I enjoy tea.
I want to share 2 tips. And I'm going to add that you haven't stopped using it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to put yet at the end. Okay. Tip number 1. Just start cutting down. Say, for example, if you use 2 teaspoons, use 1.5 teaspoons for a week. And then use 1 teaspoon, then 1/2 teaspoon until you wean yourself down. That's one way. what I do is that I'll add a little squirt of lemon, and then remember I said I use more than one tea. I'll put a little pinch of peppermint tea, spearmint tea with my tea. That give it a little flavor to it. That's one way you can do it as well as a tip. And that's what I would recommend. And also to mention that the organization is a faith-based. Anytime I'm trying to break a stronghold, and I say this from the heart, anytime I'm trying to break a stronghold that has a hold on me, I go to the Heavenly Father and ask God to help me, to break it. And I'm on a journey right now to become 100% plant-based. I'm about 85, 90, and it's more getting influence from other members that's in the house that eat meat. Because, when you see it, it's like a trigger, I just take a little bit. But yeah, and we can talk, Yolanda, we can talk offline about it or have a chat about it. But that's one is cutting down on the amount, okay?
Are there natural sweeteners that I could use in place of Splenda or?
Well, yeah, I would mainly, I can give you some stories about the artificial. That should give us a clue. Artificial. It has no nutrient value at all to us. I would lean more towards the stevia. And or lean more towards using honey, agave, monk fruit. They have that out now. Maybe adding a little orange juice, apple juice,
Right.
100% juice. So at least you're getting some benefits out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? But for time, we want to be mindful of our time, but we can have a conversation. And in our class, you get some information. We're continuing this conversation and we're building our community around food, healthy lifestyles, cooking, and sharing it with our friends and families. We do hope that you continue with us, but we're going to talk. But we want to thank Chef M from Cooking Canvas. Cooking Canvas for leading us in our discussion. This is her contact information. And she'll probably put it in the chat. Now we're going to launch our next poll. And I want to say this is excellent conversation. We really appreciate your input into the conversation because we want it to be engaging. We want it to be a two-way conversation. And so we're going to move into our mealtime discussion. I'm going to have to do a fast track on this. Is that in previous discussion, we talked about knowing your eating plan. How much and what should I eat in a day? Here's a resource for you that you can find out for yourself. And it's not just blindly. I mean, it is calculated. It's based on your age. It's based on your physical level that you have. It's based on your sex. And so whether you're male or female. And then a plan is recommended for you to either maintain a healthier weight or they can recommend a plan for you to lose weight if that's a desire of you. So from question number one, I want to put a resource again for knowing actually like meal plans. It's myplate.gov/myplate/plan. And this is where they give you a little quiz and they'll actually bullet out eating plan for you. But our subject today is about dinner. And so we can see based on the plan that you're on, how I can consume 405 calories versus 600 and 665 calories based on my eating plan for my health. But the average person doesn't know. The average person doesn't know how many calories they're consuming. And in our classes, we go into more detail. So Evelyn asked a question about spring water versus mineral and purified water, which is better. And so she gave a resource. I just want to give this out to people. You can just Google Dr. Baxter Montgomery, and he has an episode on water. There is also, I have another resource, I don't know if you can see it. It's called Water, The Shocking Truth. It was put out by Bragg's, and it goes into details about the different types of water. She also asked me what my preference is. My preference is to have some good, clean, purified, filter water if I'm using it out of my faucet coming from my sink. And there's reason behind it. Number one, filter coming from the faucet is because there's a lot of impurities lining the pipes of, my house is 85 years old. I live in a bungalow. They haven't changed those pipes. Okay. And so, but there's also another resource. If you live in the city, which I had this done, you can actually have your water analyzed. You just call 311 and just say, hey, I see I want to get my water analyzed. It's a free service if you live in Chicago. And I highly recommend that, especially if you see any particles. Sometimes it's just what they call calcification that's built up in the pipes. The other takeaway, I'm more worried about the bottles than the water. We can talk about that at a later time. Another comment came out about from session number 2. We gave some options named the plant-based chicken, the brand that was used. I personally used this. It looks just like chicken with the seasoning. When I was making, it tastes just like chicken, the substance of it, and I couldn't believe that it wasn't chicken. So the brand is called Sweet Earth Products, and it's called Mindful Chicken Strips. That's one that particularly. Another person asked about, hey, you guys are you highly recommending the Power Plate? If so, why? Okay, the 6 leading causes of death here in the United States and really across comes from our diet, is linked to our diet, the standard American diet, which is also known as the Western diet. It contributes towards heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, strokes, Alzheimer's disease has now become, they call type 3 diabetes, and kidney disease. So why wouldn't I want to change my diet to a more healthier diet that's more friendly to my body, that supports my body, that builds up my body, than continuing eating food that's constantly deteriorating it at a fast rate? I want to slow down the train. Okay, our discussion is about dinner. So this is a typical dinner. We're talking about meal composition and what's on our plate. So number 1 is traditional. We all seen that, right? The fried chicken, the mashed potatoes. Okay, so number 2 is a healthier version. And by just switching of what we're eating and how we're preparing it, is that we're getting less, and we're just tracking one thing on here, the saturated fat. But eating to get a healthier or the healthiest, and that's what we're leaning towards, the healthiest food that we can eat for our body, especially if you're dealing and living with a chronic condition. You want to move towards more plant-based, and this is another version, okay? And then this real quickly, I'm not going to go in detail, a typical chicken dinner. My mother used to tell me the chicken never gets a break. It's eaten every day, all right? So this is a chicken dinner from Chili's, chicken dinner for KFC, and something that's homemade. We're just tracking the sodium. It could have been the fat, it could have been the calories, but we're tracking sodium. This is the sodium content in that first column when you order that meal. And I'm just going to fast forward for what I highlighted. In consuming that meal, that's just the meal. That's how much sodium that you're consuming that's over what's recommended for your body, that's recommended for you. And this is based off of someone consuming 2,000 calories. Not going to go into detail, but if you want to call me personally about it, in February, we're doing another series. It's going to be focusing on heart health, and we'll go more into about the sodium. All the food was donated by Cooking Canvas. Thank you, Chef M. We have upcoming series coming in February and March. You will be receiving an invitation on that. Chef M is going to continue with us and offering the cooking demos. And there are the Stonebridge Healthy Community Initiative. They have some events coming up in February. We want you to save the date.
That will be our cooking demo as well. Healthy versions of our traditional soul foods, including dessert, will be those 2 dates, February 20th and 27th from 10 to 12 p.m.
And she's going to be reaching out to you on that. There's also going to be Stonebridge is doing a virtual walk, bike, run fundraiser in March. Stay tuned for that. Some information will be coming out to you. Also, we are continuing our series together, Collaborative of Eating Well Cooking Club. It's a forum for you to invite your friends and family members. These are the dates. You will receive more information. We want to thank you that this forum has been brought to you at no cost. It's free. It costs on our end, but it's free to you, about improving eating habits for healthier lifestyles and increased longevity. We appreciate any free will donation. Both our organizations are nonprofit. If you were invited by advocates for community wellness, Dale Kane or Lynette, you would donate to advocates. If you were invited by Stonebridge Healthy Community or any of their supporters, you would go to their website to donate. We'll put this, a final thank you letter will be going out, and we'll be putting that information coming out to you. And thank you for supporting us. Knowledge is power only when you use it, and you got to share it. I'd like for us to walk away that each one bring one to the next cooking session. It's like that each one teach one, but each one bring one, because we want to expand our community. And someone made a comment and I responded to it, is that chronic condition should not be the norm in our community, but we are set up for it. I can go in details about that, but we're set up for it, but we don't have to buy into it. Because once we know better, we do better. I'm going to close with that. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.